So today we have Rashmi. Welcome, Rashmi. Welcome to the Ask Entrepreneur Show.
Hi, Krishna. And people call me Rajat.
Okay, Rajat.
So you can call me Rajat.
Okay,
Yeah.
Rajat, you can talk about like how this whole entrepreneurship journey got started for you.
So for me, it was because I was working with a MNC, and my daughter was 5, and at that time she started insisting that I spend more time with her. And when you're working, it's very difficult to do that you be at home and work. Most of the time you have to be at work, and children do suffer in spite of me trying to balance work and life. I used to come back home for lunch, then go back to work, then my husband would be back in the evening, I would come back late. We tried all that, but for her it was important I be there. She started showing it in her behavior, so I had to take a break. uh, Plan was that I would take a 1 year break. So in that 1 year, I started writing my blogs, and I even got awarded for some of them. And then I started a magazine. It was called Write Your Mind, on creativity. So they say that there is a kida of entrepreneurship. Once it gets in you, then you are like, helpless. So I got that kida because I got ads from the likes of Tanishq for this magazine. I would just walk down into a store and I would say that, I'm doing this magazine on creativity and you have to put ads, and the ads are very high priced. I'm going to put only a few. And people said yes. But then, like they say, that you need to have a few failed enterprises before you succeed. So, Write Your Mind actually frizzled because I needed the participation of youngsters in the age group of 14 to 18
Okay.
to be the editors of the magazine. Parents were not very happy with that because this is the age for them to study. And the kids were spending a lot of time with me, and the parents started getting concerned that they have to go for their Akash training or their n number of other trainings, and they are just
Stuff and all those stuff. Yeah.
apparently wasting their time on this. My idea was to train them to be entrepreneurs, So it started from them to the point where they would actually go and sell the magazine and get a cut from it.
Great, great.
So some of my yeah, the first set of my editors actually earned money, small amounts, but they did earn money from their effort by selling the magazine. But then, yeah, it frizzled. The idea frizzled after some time. I was all alone on my own. Then I took a so I then started teaching in a college for some time. It was a adjunct faculty role, so I would go to college for 3 days a week and teach. During that time, I met with a lot of people. I was heading the department of professional development, so it had always been my dream to be a trainer. And I did a train the trainer course. I did a course on career development facilitation and all of it, and I went to the college, so they gave me a department to handle, which was called professional development. So I was at the right place, but then something went wrong with that college, and we had to leave. So after that, I was like clear, that I'm not going to take a job. And I still teach. I am visiting faculty in colleges, but I don't go full day to any place. I said, this is not meant for me. Entrepreneurship is what I want to pursue. And that's how I started my training company with an ex colleague from the college, which was called Samvad, the Leadership Dialogues. COVID brought a little bit of complication in our plan, but then I started my online training program after that. So right now my program is online on Teachable, and it's for women leaders, or rather women who want to be leaders, which is literally everyone, 100% of women, because everyone can be a leader. So I would say that entrepreneurship journey usually doesn't start, it just happens. Because the idea is there. Somehow people don't know that they are entrepreneurs. They just start to believe that somebody else has to tell them what to do. And I just learned that I don't need to wait for that.
External push is everybody is waiting, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
What is the one thing which an probably the aspiring entrepreneur must overcome to have a sustainable long-term business?
Yes. One thing is that that person has to overcome literally himself, because when we start off in in our entrepreneurship journey, we just have an idea, and a lot of time we believe that our idea is to be kept within lock and key. But then when I went for this NSR Cell program in IIM, they said that ideas are a dime a dozen. It's not about the idea, it's about implementation. So an entrepreneur needs to over learn. First thing is to overcome his or her own inhibitions. The second thing is they should have a target of revenue planned out for them. um, but there will be you also have to have a target of expense planned out for you, because a lot of time these days we talk about lean enterprises, but the lean model goes only so far. So if you have to be in business, you have to create that kind of a uh, environment. If you're not from a business family, it's very difficult. If you are from a business family, it's still difficult, because you may be from a traditional business family, and entrepreneurship is not about that traditional business that you put up a shop and you're done. So I think some of the things I had to overcome, I can talk about that, was my own inhibitions. I was not sure whether my idea can be even implemented. So I found myself a coach who can, who basically tells me every week that, this is right and this is wrong. And she gave me a lot more confidence for my idea than I had in myself. So you have to put together a team. Then the next thing was my habits, which were not letting me get there. Like, maybe procrastination, maybe not meeting people frequently, maybe not marketing. All these are weaknesses which people would I had. So I started working on them one by one. Then my fear of spending, because I don't know what I'm going to get back from this enterprise, but I have to put my money there. So put your money where your mouth is. And that is the learning that I have had as entrepreneur, that you have to splurge in areas where you need that strength. You have to save in areas where you don't need the strength. So you have to be miserly, but uh, but large hearted when it comes to the real things. So that's a very difficult balance. And I was lucky to have read Sam Walton's book, where he says that, um he was a miserly businessman, in terms of the fact that he started Walmart with a with very his idea was cheap products, right? But he also lived that life. Like, his first aeroplane that he bought, the first jet that he bought, was a second hand, and he always bought second hand jets even when he became a billionaire. So these were lessons which were really good for me. But then just Sam Walton didn't work for me. Sometimes you have to be, you know, uh, more open about spending and things. That learning came on the way for me. So these were some of the things that I learned in my journey as entrepreneur.